playable here. We're going to be checking out some actual in-game battles. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So first up, walk us through these characters. I obviously recognize Batman. Who else do we have?
Yeah, we have 3 returning characters: Aquaman, Batman, and Superman. And 2 or 3 characters new to the Injustice universe: Atrocitus, who's like a Red Lantern; Gorilla Grodd, one of Flash's villains; and Supergirl, who is very much in the forefront of things lately.
Yeah, so, she is.
Yeah, so we have that and three environments and a good demonstration of our gear system. So it's a lot of cool new stuff to show you.
Awesome, and I'm sure we'll be seeing this. Man, Atrocitus looks really cool. I'm sure we're going to be seeing this, but essentially, as I understand it, when you win a match, you essentially get like kind of a loot drop. Is that kind of how that works?
Yeah, exactly. We call it a gear system, and in the simplest of terms, gear can be described as costume pieces that power up your character. So there are a number of ways. You're always going to be getting, like you said, like these drops of gear that will, a new cowl for Batman, new utility belt, new boots for Superman, and they come with it, power-ups for your character, so you can do a little bit more damage on the environments, or your attack damage is a little bit more, or your defensive blocking damage is a little more, and tons of variables, and you're constantly getting them. You're constantly deciding which ones you want to use based on the kind of Batman that you want to craft. And so effectively it's you're making your Batman, I'm making my Batman. We might meet up online, and it's yours versus mine.
That's awesome.
and it's different. They look different too. So that's the customization and personalization is really what kind of sets this apart from certainly the last Injustice or any other fighting game.
Yeah, I've never heard of this before in a fighting game. It actually is one of those things where I never would have thought of it, but now that you mention it, it's like, yeah, I want that. I want that in my fighting game.
Yeah.
And I mean, Injustice, we're seeing some great footage here. This game's looking real sharp. NetherRealm, known for high production values in general, and we've seen that with Mortal Kombat X, now we're seeing it with Injustice 2. So tell me a little bit about these 2 characters we're seeing here, and some of the pros and cons that they have.
Yeah, these are the two of the new characters that we've had here. Atrocitus is basically, if you think of Green Lantern, except for he's a big monster, has hate, and he has a lot of blood. He's kind of a anti-hero version of Green Lantern, but a lot meaner. Yeah.
Bam!
Yeah. And he's with Gorilla Grodd, who's one of Flash's villains. And Gorilla Grodd is kind of he's a gorilla, and he's had all these crazy animal-like attacks, but he also has a high intellect. So he has telekinetic abilities. He can make you beat yourself up. He can levitate in the air and stuff. And so it's a great, I think they're 2 great additions to our roster.
One of the things I love about what you guys did with Injustice 1, which was a huge hit with me and my friends, we love that game. It's got such a great sense of humor, but it's still I think we got, what are these called again? Ultimate?
The transitions, yeah.
Oh, the transitions.
He's knocking him into another arena with a whole new kind of palette of objects that you can use in the fight.
So good.
Yeah.
But one of the things I've always loved about Injustice is, it's not just Batman and Joker or whatever. It's you guys kind of get down in the weeds a little bit there on the DC IP, which I think is really smart.
Yeah. We love having the obviously the forefront characters, but we also love the more little less recognizable but very cool characters, and some of them we've we're hoping we can even show more people who've never experienced them, and then get them, they'll be, we'll read a comic about.
Yeah, I know who this guy is. Yeah,
exactly.
And I mean that was what Injustice 1 was for me. There's so many characters there. I said, that's a DC character?
Yeah.
I never even heard of that guy.
Yeah.
But he ended up being super cool, and ended up really kind of grabbing onto him. So here we have Aquaman. I think Injustice 1. That's great. The little taunt before they fight.
Yeah.
Aquaman in the original Injustice, the most badass Aquaman of all time.
Yeah.
Easily my favorite character in the game.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little bit cheap. I love his strikes where he can strike anywhere on the screen. But and now we have Supergirl. So tell me a little bit about how Aquaman has kind of made the jump here to Injustice 2.
Yeah.
What we can expect out of Supergirl.
Yeah, one of our goals was we wanted to make the most badass Aquaman that's ever existed.
Yeah.
And his big super with the shark that comes out and grabs the other guy.
So good.
And I think we actually topped it with this version of Aquaman. And Supergirl is actually we always want to have girl power in our games,
of course.
and Supergirl, you know, with her TV show and everything like that. So we really wanted to kind of give her her due representation in the game. But Aquaman Super with this kind of prehistoric shark is even cooler than the last one. You know, so some people who've seen that footage.
Oh, so it's like a megalodon or something?
Oh, it's kind of like a part shark, part dinosaur.
Yeah, that's the best kind of shark. Anytime you have a shark that's part dinosaur, oh.
Yeah, that's the Trench Queen. It's all part of Aquaman's lore.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, maybe we'll see the Aquaman super move.
I hope so.
Get him in here. That'd be
So it looks like we're fighting in Atlantis here?
Yes. Atlantis is one of the 3 arenas that we brought. Atlantis, Metropolis, and Gotham City are the 3 that we brought here. Here's that.
Here we go. Let's see it.
With Aquaman.
Bam. Oh, now I see the dinosaur. That's crazy. So good, so good. So you guys, what are these moves called again? I forget. They're called.
The super moves are like the grand
moves.
over the top moves. That's when you have your bar full,
right,
and you use it all.
Oh, here we go.
Supergirl actually flies her opponent around the sun.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I could watch it all day. That's great.
Yeah.
And you guys must have, when you were making Injustice 2, you must have thought about, hey, do we do a fatality type of system? And I think it's interesting that you kind of took this route instead, because they're a lot of fun to pull off.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that just, we're the studio that makes Mortal Kombat.
Right.
And so, there are things that we really didn't want to feel confined to, the block button, fatalities, and all that. And, this is a T-rated game. So we don't want to do all the crazy stuff. That's for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a little bit more like it's a little simpler. It's back to block. It's not holding the block button. So we really want this game to be its own kind of entity with its own rules and its own kind of feature set. Mm-hmm. And with the sequel, we were kind of like, okay, of course we're going to bring back the favorite characters. Of course we're going to expand the roster, but we wanted to do something that was unexpected. That's kind of the whole gear system that comes into play.
Which is, I think is going to work out real nicely. It's a great way to keep people playing. And, I still love these little character selection, taunt, trading blows thing. That's great. And I've been a big fan of your games for a long time. I loved Mortal Kombat vs. DC. I loved Mortal Kombat, the reboot, Mortal Kombat X, Injustice. And one of the things that's been so fun to see you guys do is to kind of move more and more towards this kind of narrative system, which is, I think, so powerful and such an important, maybe even underappreciated innovation in fighting games, because hey, not everyone could be a tournament-grade fighter, right?
Exactly.
I want to sit down maybe and have just like a cool story that I could beat my way through.
Exactly. Any game with a roster of characters, Mortal Kombat, one of the things that's always stood out was it had a roster of characters and they had a relationship with each other, and there was a story. And so we started presenting it with the cinematic, method where the player participates in the fighting. And so when we did Injustice, again, it's a perfect marriage. You have Superman and Batman and Aquaman, and they're not talking to each other, they're not acknowledging each other.
Yeah.
That's a waste of such a great, opportunity with them. So, we did in Injustice and in Injustice 2, we're going to have a really deep cinematic story experience, like watching a movie. Yeah.
Or a really good TV show, maybe.
Exactly, and participating in the fights.
Which is so cool. I love the one in Mortal Kombat X. Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat the reboot, that was a revelation. Yeah. And I went, oh God, I didn't know how bad I wanted this. And then in Mortal Kombat X, I felt like it was like almost like perfected. Like it was like the story was really tight. It was really interesting, Yeah. And obviously the Warner Brothers and the DC franchises here, they give you a lot of room to play with.
It was great. We actually managed to carve out our own slice of the multiverse and say, okay, in our world,
this is our version.
Exactly.
That's
in our
great.
World, Superman is a tyrant.
That's
and
awesome.
These bad things happen to him. And and we have our story arc going. When we the last game, Batman put Superman in prison.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue that storyline and find out what happens after that. It's been fun to create all that stuff.
So where is Superman these days? What's he up to?
Well, when we last left him off, he was in prison, and as you might guess, since he's in the game, you know, he may get out. So
I wonder if he could get out of that prison.
Right,
you know,
in some capacity. But yeah, that's part of, I guess, what we're going to be revealing in the next few months is like the details of the story and how cool that's going to be mixed in.
That's awesome, and I'm kind of transfixed here watching Batman do his thing with Supergirl here. Now, Batman, obviously, you know, one of the most iconic of all superheroes, and one of my favorite characters, frankly, in the last game. Oh, I like the shadowing effect that's on the wall there. That's really cool.
Yeah, the lighting's really dramatic in this arena.
And I mean, that's one of the nice things here, too. When you made Injustice, one of the best-looking games on last gen. Absolutely. You guys must have squeezed every pixel out of PS3.
Yeah.
And so now you guys are on a whole new hardware baseline. You guys can really turn on the graphics.
Exactly. Yeah. We've this is a new graphics engine for us, and you know we have a lot of nuances and details that we weren't able to do before, and you know our facial animations, you know, much more detail. You know, characters come out just like in Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah.
They talk to each other, and they reveal, you know, part of their history. So a lot of times, two people will say something to each other that's, you know, related to, you know, Flashpoint story or Killing Joke or something like that.
I love that.
And people love those little nuggets of nods to previous stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that's so great about Mortal Kombat, and then especially Mortal Kombat X, you guys have been so good about supporting these games post-launch with really cool characters. So just kind of want to pick your brain. Do you think a similar strategy is going to apply to Injustice 2?
Absolutely. You know, and actually, it's been a progression. If you look back to Mortal Kombat 2011, we had 4 DLC characters that we released. Injustice had 6 DLC characters that reached out. Mortal Kombat X had 8 characters, so you can see where we're going as far as our, you know, we really want the games to be supported not only with DLC characters, but with, you know, in tournaments and prize pools and all that stuff like that. So that's been a great part of making it too.
It's super important, and Ed, you guys, once again, you're doing fine work here as always. So really glad to have you by. PlayStation Livecast here as we're sitting down seeing all the best and brightest at E3. Injustice 2 clearly among that group. So thanks again for coming by.
It wouldn't be an E3 for our company without coming to visit you guys.
I appreciate that, and I'm going to be talking more soon with you, I think.
Yep.
We're going to see a little more Injustice, but next, let's check in on Nier Automata down on the PlayStation Underground.
We're coming back here with 3 returning characters, 3 brand new characters. You know, Aquaman, Superman, Batman, everybody is aware of. But, you know, the introduction of Supergirl, which is really exciting. The Flash's villain, Gorilla Grodd.
Oh, wow.
Is also a lot of fun. He plays, you know, different than you'd expect. And Atrocitus, who is kind of like, you know, a big, red, angry version of Green Lantern.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can think of him as that way. Red Lantern. He's the opposite of Green Lantern in almost every way. But you know, I guess we can go ahead and start the gameplay with them and give you an idea of this new system that we're introducing in Injustice 2. You know, with Injustice, you know, we always say, oh, you know, it's big battle of the gods, huge destruction, transitions, multiple arenas. It's awesome. And with the sequel, of course, we're going to add new characters, you know, and expand on that whole thing. But the gear system, what we're calling the gear system, is really like the foundation of what is brand new, what we're bringing to the table, differentiated from Injustice, as well as differentiating it from other fighting games.
Wow, very cool. So, like with each match that you fight, you'll be grabbing gear, or how does that work?
Yeah, so like after a fight is done, you're going to acquire some gear, and the gear actually powers up your character. So every character in the game has thousands and thousands of, you know, boots, utility belts, cowls, capes, insignias, and when you finish playing the game, it's kind of like XP. You know, you're getting a drops of gear. Sure. And then you get to actually apply them to your character, and they power your character up in different ways. You know, defense. You know, your strength, your abilities that you use in the you know, with your special moves and your health meter, and you are in a constant process of leveling up.
So
yeah.
You know. Now, does this carry on to like online also? Like, will I be able to face like, you know, Superman versus my Superman, where it's decked out differently?
Yeah, and you know what you said is really key. It's like your Superman, your Batman, your Aquaman against somebody else's, and it's all personalized, and it is you literally customizing, molding your version of these characters that go up against somebody else's.
I love that idea because you see so often, there's certain characters who will be more popular than others, and you see a lot of mirror matches. But now, like you said, like you can have your, maybe I'll focus on like more offense type gear, versus maybe Swifter's defense type, gear.
Exactly.
Sounds very
You
cool.
notice here this is big transition. You can throw your opponent into a new arena where there's a whole new palette of objects that you can actually use in the fight. That was something that really resonated with the last Injustice, and we really wanted to bring it over. And you look at these characters again, with Atrocitus. He's all about anger and hate and blood. So he has all these kind of blood moves. He can bring out the
and flying cats.
Yeah. His name is Dexstar, and he's actually also a Red Lantern in the DC lore.
Wow.
And so Atrocitus can bring him out, use him, and he actually aids in the battle of the fight. Yeah, it's exciting. And Gorilla Grodd is all about big kind of primal moves mixed in with telekinetic moves. He's blasting them down back into the street arena where.
I was just going to say, and here we see the environmental interaction again.
Yeah, going busting through walls, bouncing off. You feel the power of like these attacks.
Oh yeah, and we always describe it as like the battle of the gods, And so Grodd here is his.
That's what I love seeing too. Just like these two brawlers beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, the variety of characters in this game is actually going to be even wider than the last one. So here is what we were talking about in terms of the gear. Like when you finish a round, your characters are leveling up. You see the stats of their strength and all that. But then this gear that you're rewarded with, the Curse of Rage, his new arms for Atrocitus, and Grodd has these. You can also be awarded gear for other characters.
Yeah, I just noticed.
You want to level up your other characters. It kind of gives you an incentive to really build up the entire cast.
That is very cool.
That is all. I'm actually really, really excited about like the loot drop system and like looking at like, if I face off against a man, he's got like, that awesome gauntlet. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, counter that or whatever.
Exactly. Or when you go online and you see somebody wearing some crazy crown, you're like, where did you get that?
Exactly.
And so there's a lot of kind of like this big collection mechanic going on.
Oh man, when is this coming out? I'm sorry, I'm like jumping to that, but I just want to play.
No, of course.
Unfortunately, we got to wait until 2017.
Oh,
for
bad
it to come out.
boy!
Yeah, but it's going to be worth the wait. Like we were saying, there's bigger roster of characters. This whole gear stuff is going to be so exciting, and just another great opportunity is with the first Injustice. There's always characters who didn't get in the roster.
Oh, of course.
And a bunch of angry people that characters didn't get into the game. So a lot of it is satisfying those people, wanted to see Atrocitus, wanted to see Superman.
Yeah, comic book fans in particular can be pretty vocal when they are not listening.
And it's a great thing. I'd rather have people passionate about it, even if passion.
That's a nice, polite way to put it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. People care, and these games, of course, they're fans of just Injustice itself. Like we were talking about earlier, the comic book Injustice has really taken off, and fans just love the setting, like the story that the first game brought.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was such a great kind of summary of the events leading up to the first game. That's what was so cool about it. Yeah, he's really has anger issues.
Like you said, I love that idea that you guys come from the perspective that it's like the gods, like just these beings with like ultimate powers, just throwing down.
Exactly. It's kind of like thinking of you have these super powered beings all kind of assembled, and a story that kind of gives them a reason to want to beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah. So, are there any changes to like the combo system or like the mechanics? I'm sure you guys are still kind of tweaking that, of course.
Yeah, we're always refining it. We every game we really want to add nuances that not only can be appreciated by kind of casual guys, but the hardcore fighting game guys. We really are big fans of esports and everything, and we really want to have this game be a big part of it with tournaments and all that stuff. So there's a lot of really deep layers that we've added to the game for those players.
love seeing the back and forth there, like even as you choose the characters.
Yeah, that's a big
banter
part.
back. Like in Mortal Kombat, you always had like these like awesome, very custom interactions between characters. And is that like
Exactly. We were so happy with how that turned out. And these characters, they have, a lot of them have relationships with each other, and they have stories famous stories. They make references to those stories. It's great. So you see a lot of nods to the, to some of the comics you might have read, or or something you might have seen in other media. And it's great how you see those relationships. So they talk to each other before a fight, and it really kind of, you'd be surprised how much it really adds a level of depth.
It really does.
Absolutely, keeping staying true to like the original kind of like source material that has come before. Because these characters, these are like the forefathers of the whole superhero comic scene, and very cool that you guys have taken that into account as well. Kept it in the game.
Yeah, we're and the characters like the returning characters, Aquaman and Batman and Superman. What's cool is we've given them new moves and really kind of updated them. So like they're your favorite character. You love how they play. There's going to be some familiarity about it, but there's also other layers of stuff.
Yeah. Oh man.
Poor Aquaman.
She's not messing around. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a transition into a train. I don't know if you guys have seen it on the right side. That is really cool because it's got you can actually the guy is actually like kind of spinning through the train here.
Oh, are we about to see it? Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, Aquaman.
That's great.
I love how it's Aquaman too. He's just getting knocked around.
Poor Aquaman.
Yeah, he's got this awesome super move that's it's probably one of my favorite ones in the game right now. It's just kind of really, it's just so ridiculously over the top. Yeah. Considering his last one had this big shark, he really wanted to have something that kind of one up that whole thing.
Wow.
Is this it, or
I think we're seeing it right now. Look at that. Oh, it's looking like prehistoric.
It's not even over.
Wow.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. I just want to say, Supergirl, she actually deserved that. Like, she's been knocking him around a while.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh man, I'm probably most excited for the loot system though. That sounds like so like amazing. Just keep me coming back. Looking forward to the end of every match.
Exactly. Like fighting games are really all about traditionally have been about here's the character that we made. You learn it, you master it, you get it. Now we're all about kind of giving the player more personalization into it and an ongoing mold.
Can check out, and this game looks incredible. One of the things when we were in Chicago that I thought was absolutely amazing was the super moves that you have. And you teased some of them in the trailer with, obviously, you got Batman and Superman and going at each other. But tell us, this game, let's talk about sort of the customizations. One of the things we were in Chicago you're talking a lot about is how everyone's going to have a different Batman or a different Superman, right?
Yeah.
Tell us how that works.
Yeah, fighting games are all about, the character that you're playing. And for the most part, when people play the character, it's the character that we made, and you basically learn it, you master it, you learn the nuances of it, but you don't really change what it does. And that's kind of what we're introducing with this game. We're really like saying, okay, here's a base version of Aquaman, here's a base version of Superman, Atrocitus, and that's your starting point. And then when you start acquiring gear, and that gear actually makes your character more powerful, and you're the one who chooses what it is that it's going to enhance as far as the part of the game. And as we can see before, our super moves were kind of like, we set such a high bar before, it's kind of like, so we're trying to really just supersede all of this one.
I love that that's all in engine, all this insanity.
Oh yeah.
Now I know at E3 here you're showing, I think it's you have 3 areas, 4 characters, or what can we expect?
We're going to see 6 characters.
6 characters.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and 3 arenas. They're kind of like famous ones, Metropolis, Gotham City, and Atlantis. You might notice as you're seeing the gameplay here is, when you see Batman for the second time, he looks a little bit different. That's because that's a different Batman. When you see Grodd for the second time, it's a little bit different. Yeah. Everybody's is going to look different, and that's what's so exciting about it, because they're going to actually have, the most personalized. The personalization is what we're really adding to this game, as far as making your version of Batman, your version of Superman, your version of Grodd, and just the outrageousness in it.
It looks insane. Well, Ed, thank you so much for stopping by.
You gonna spit up on me, Atrocitus?
Irritating female.
You know who else does that? Babies.
Atlantis can't be my enemy.
Next time, try diplomacy.
I did. That's why we're here.
You could wear a red ring.
Red jewelry's kind of for old ladies.
Look me at your peril.
You won't rule Earth, Grodd.
Nor will you, Superman.
I have and will again. I'm not Clark's enemy.
This sure is a funny way to show it.
You haven't heard the whole story.
You appear feeble.
I punch above my weight.
What do you want, Grodd? Your head on a plate.
They say that battle changes you. It makes you stronger. More ferocious. A monster in the night. Watching. Learning. Hunting. Each time I enter the pit, I emerge reborn. Put the devil on the other side, and I will show up. Evolved. Adapted. And prepared to fight.